Now this is weird. I remembered to do it, but the next day I didn't remember doing it. Maybe I'm just getting old or I'm just distracted. I mean, like recently, it seems like it's easy to forget what I have to do. I'll explain what I mean in a moment, but now let's stop to listen to the intro music.
Welcome to another Happy English podcast coming to you from New York City. And here's your English teacher, Michael.
All right, thank you, John, and thanks, everyone. It's Michael here from Happy English, and I help people speak English better. And this is Happy English Podcast, episode 758. Remember to do this one thing. That's today's English lesson topic. Do you have a request for a topic here? Send me a message at myhappyenglish.com and let me know. So you know how some verbs completely change their meaning when you add ing or to? For example, you can stop to drink coffee or stop drinking coffee. It's like 1 minute you're talking about taking a break and the next you're talking about quitting something entirely. Stop, try, remember, and forget. These 4 verbs have been annoying some of my students this week, and I realized after a lesson this morning that this can be pretty tricky for a lot of English learners. So, let's jump right in with stop and try. 2 words we use all the time but can get us into trouble. You can stop to buy a cup of coffee, or you can stop buying a cup of coffee. What? The thing is, when you stop to do something, that stop followed by the infinitive, the to verb, stop to do, it means that you took a break in order to do that thing. I stopped to buy coffee means that I was doing something and then I hit the pause button on that in order to buy a cup of coffee. Like, I was walking to my office and I noticed the coffee shop and I stopped to buy coffee. I took a break from walking in order to buy coffee. And I could say that I stopped walking in order to buy coffee. Stop walking. When you use stop followed by an ing, it means to finish an activity. I stopped working last night around 8 o'clock. Stop working means to finish working. Stop followed by an ing also means to quit doing something forever, like quitting a bad habit. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before, but I used to smoke when I was younger, and I stopped smoking when I was like 25 years old. Boy, was that a good decision. I stopped to buy coffee. I'm not giving up coffee forever, just taking a quick break in order to get some coffee. But if I stop buying coffee, that gives us the idea that I'm putting an end to that habit. And you all know how expensive a cup of coffee is compared to making it at home. I'm glad I stopped buying coffee and started making it myself. Okay, let's move on to try. Since I moved to this town, I've been trying to find a good pizza place. When you say that you are trying to do something, it suggests you're putting an effort towards something. I'm really trying to improve my Japanese reading and writing skills. You do know I'm also a language learner, don't you? But when you try doing something, it's like more of an experiment to see what happens. I haven't heard from Jack in a couple of days. I tried calling him, but he didn't answer. And then I tried sending him a message, but I didn't get a reply. I think I'm going to try going to his house and knocking on the door. Wow, there's a lot of experimenting going on just to see what's up with Jack. Okay, now you'd better make sure you're sitting down, because we're about to dive into a pair of verbs that are even trickier than stop and try. I'm talking about remember and forget. Here's the story. I forgot to call my grandmother on her birthday, and she was pretty upset. Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever forgotten to do something? When you have an obligation, in other words, something that you have to do, you should remember to do it. It's kind of like before you leave the house in the morning, you need to remember to turn off the gas, right? But have you ever been in a situation where you left the house and then 5 minutes later you thought, uh-oh, did I forget to turn off the gas? And then you go all the way back home only to find that you remembered to turn off the gas. Remember to and forget to talk about your responsibility, your obligations. Remember ing is about your memories. Like if I say, I remember visiting Rome, that means I have that experience stored away in my memory bank. Or what about my friend Jack? Jack said he doesn't remember drinking too much, but he was very drunk at the party. Classic Jack. Seems like he forgot drinking all those shots of tequila. You can forget doing a lot of things when alcohol is involved, that's for sure. So remember ing and forget ing are all about your memories. Have you ever been watching a movie and after a half hour or so you remember watching that movie before? When you picked out that movie to watch, you probably forgot watching it sometime before, and you didn't remember watching it until about halfway into the movie. Has that ever happened to you? So again, remember doing and forget doing are all about your memories. I'll never forget visiting Japan for the first time. That was really an amazing trip. When you think about using stop, try, remember, and forget, try applying the patterns we looked at today to your own life and own experiences. Have you stopped doing some bad habit? Have you taken a break and stopped to do something? Or maybe, with your effort, have you tried doing something? Just don't forget to write your own sentences with this vocabulary. That will help you remember these patterns so you can use them in your English conversations. And speaking of your English conversations, did you know that you can get the chance to practice this kind of English with me directly? Yeah, you can get more practice using your English when you join my Podcast Learners Study Group. There, you can make new friends, join us for live group lessons every week where we practice these podcast lessons together. Plus, you get access to the PDF transcript and audio download for every Happy English podcast in the past and in the future. And on top of that, each episode has exercises where you can practice this English point with speaking and writing checked by me. To learn more, just visit myhappyenglish.com and choose podcast lesson 758. Remember, learning another language is not easy, but it's not impossible, and I'm here to help you on your journey.
This podcast was brought to you by Happy English. Please visit myhappyenglish.com. Show your support for Happy English by leaving us a review. Get English, get happy, Happy English.